Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, thank you for joining me once again. There are 3 things that you can do to help this channel grow. That is like, subscribe, and please share the content. If you're feeling generous, you can always make a donation at paypal.me/morlogmorningdigest. I plan on doing some work on the ground that involves traveling, and that's what this money will be used for. Now, we are going to be talking about the coronavirus today, but it's not going to be an update, more of a discussion, looking at things from a different angle. Now, the reason is because I am very aware that fear and hysteria are gripping the entire world right now. And I want to apologize if it seems as though I'm sensationalizing this and capitalizing on it. That's not my intent at all. We're going to assume that all of the information that I've been putting out in the last 8 updates is all propaganda coming out of China for the sake of argument, okay? Now, if that is the case, the only question we have to ask ourselves is why would China do this? I'm not interested with the how, because it's very complicated. We need to understand the why, and that is what we are going to do here. We all know that the Chinese economy is on the brink of destruction. With everything that's been done via trade, the USMCA, the stopping of intellectual property theft, the backstops that we just put in place to ensure this, etc., etc., China is in a position that they cannot get out of as far as their economy taking a hit. They're no longer going to be able to manipulate their currency like they have been for the last 50 plus years. And if they do, there are backstops ensured with the deals that Trump just signed that would literally tear their economy right at the seams. So, China now has to find a way to blame their economic downturn on something out of their control. You see, Xi Jinping can't sit there, right, and say, it's my fault. He's a dictator now. He's literally president for life. He's responsible for everything that happens in China, which means his head is the first to fly if something goes wrong, especially if it's within his control to stop. Now, what we have to realize is inside of China, when the government tells you to do something, you do it and you don't question it. So if the government tells you that there's a pandemic out there, you don't question it. You just don't, even if it's the common flu. Now, let's assume that that's what's going on. Let's assume that fear and hysteria has set in and the population's believing everything coming out of China. Because let's admit it, man, I've done 8 updates assuming that it is. So, if that's the case, China now has the ability to tell the entire world, but especially tell the people inside of their country, that, hey, there was nothing we could do about this. It's a disease's fault. We have to realize that the beginning of this disease coinciding with the beginning of the lunar holiday is not by coincidence, and it 100% points at the economic downturn being the catalyst for this entire event. Now, you got to realize the entire country of China takes 2 weeks off of work right around that time. Everybody in Africa comes home. Everybody all over the world that's been working, migrant workers, they all come home and go to China, which means their GDP literally grinds to a zero for those 2 weeks. And China extended that holiday by a week. Okay, which means that at the onset of this outbreak, their economy would have already been at a standstill naturally. And what does China do the last week of this shutdown for the country? They inject 400 billion yuan into their economy, okay? And then they also put another 22 billion into their stock market, inflating their economy by 2 points. Now, the day before they did this, their economy dropped by 8 points. Now keep in mind what I just told you. Their entire economy is naturally at a standstill because of the lunar holiday, right? How the hell did they lose 8 points if their economy would have been naturally shut down? And the reason is because this is a natural economic downturn and had nothing to do with the lunar holiday and their people not working. So this tells you that that hit would have happened whether these people got sick or not, and the Chinese government needs a way to cover this up. And this is where Bill and Melinda Gates enter into the equation, because if they see an opportunity to profit, they're not going to shy away from it. And I don't think that they have anything to do with the actual spreading of this propaganda. But naturally, being in the industry they're in, they're going to have access to information before the average person, right? So if they know, especially because they developed Event 201, the simulation that the Chinese based this whole thing on, right? So they're definitely working together as far as putting information into play. It ties into Bill and Melinda Gates because, like I said, the economy of China just got pumped up. Bill and Melinda Gates, no doubt, have stock in the Chinese economy. Okay. The German economy went through the roof yesterday. It hasn't been seen in a long time. The German economy has been hurting. Okay. The U.S. economy shot through the roof yesterday. Now, I believe the Japanese economy, the Japanese index also shot through the roof yesterday. Now, if you look at the sectors that shot through the roof the most, they're pharmaceutical sectors. Let's pay attention to the information that was just released from Thailand, which is, like I said, assumed to be propaganda at this point. I've told you that they've reverse engineered HIV antiviral medication as well as a flu inoculation, combine them, and they're saying that this has a very good chance of being an effective remedy for this virus, right? So we're seeing the push for a vaccine already. Bill and Melinda Gates are no doubt going to benefit immensely economically if that is the case, because they have their toes in every single puddle in that industry. Now, this is very, very intriguing because India, as I've said, has thrown the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation out of their country completely. But India now has reported cases. So, did Bill and Melinda Gates just engineer their way back into one of the biggest populations on the entire plane of existence? And the answer to that question is scary, because the answer is yes. Let's just say, if the Indian government, who's already thrown the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation out of their country, has no choice but to allow Bill and Melinda Gates back in, do you think they're going to? Or do you think they're going to let their people suffer from this disease? Even if it's not going to kill a bunch of people, the government's going to have no choice because the people think that it's going to. You get what I'm saying here? And that hysteria could spread to the United States just as easily. All right? And because this is happening during flu season, you could very easily see people turning on each other. You're seeing it already. You're seeing xenophobia against the Chinese everywhere right now. This is 100% out of the playbook that we've seen used 100,000 times before. So yes, the possibility of all of this being a lie in order to push vaccines, yeah, you can't ignore that being a possibility at all. And I appreciate you guys calling me out on it, right? I'm not here to spread fear porn by any means. So, like I said before, this is out of our hands. We can't control anything, right? The flu, that's a thing every single year. You know you can catch it, right? The best thing you can do is be prepared. Period. The end. Worst case scenario is this thing is just as deadly as they're saying it is, if not worse. Okay? Best case scenario, they're lying to us and trying to push a vaccine that most of us will never take anyway, even if our life depended on it. I've said this in a few comments. I would rather lick the floor of a Wuhan hospital than take a vaccine. Ask the million kids in India who trusted Bill and Melinda Gates. Are you going to trust them when this pandemic reaches your front door? The answer to that question should be no. But I'm not telling you what to do. This is just my opinion. God bless you and your family. Do your own research. Don't trust anybody. God bless and have a wonderful day. I'll be speaking to you soon.